good. You know that PHSD server refresh team that we had? Tony deleted it.
Dude, we're kidding me. There's a lot of good data on there.
He just
You need to
deleted it.
recover that.
Yeah, I saw it, it was gone. I'm like, who did that? Tony.
Oh,
So maybe I should take him out of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Get started moving some of that data.
Yeah. See, PHSD server refresh right there. He deleted it yesterday.
Bring up YouTube.
Yeah. PXU site. I don't have any. They didn't put a page for the.
What? So YouTube.com. PXU.
Yeah. I don't want it yet. YouTube.com. Search for PXU. Oh, there it is.
Go ahead and launch it. Okay, you've seen it. You want to do?
Cool.
All right. Apparently, I the best. Like a high vis vest? Yeah, I gotta wear a high vis vest. Oh, they're gonna start. I want to get run by vest.
Good evening, everyone. It is 4:30, and we're going to call this meeting to order. Yes, we do. Do we have an agenda? Where's my agenda? Is it on the front page? I don't have an agenda. Oh, thank you. Ms. Hernandez here?
No, Maria's gonna.
Oh, Maria.
We're gonna do roll call.
Could we do roll call, please?
This Cañeda.
Cañera?
Yeah.
Okay. Ms. Cañera, can we do roll call? Seems. Let's see. Renning, Schaefer, Williams, Doherty, Nito, Larson, Jimenez, Rivera, Nidorum, Dialba, Silvis, Fernandez. My apologies. Thank you. Okay.
Just to clarify, did we say who was here and who was not? I just heard you say like a
I just
list
said
of.
who was here.
Who was here, okay.
Yes. Are you doing it? You have a clicker? We have a clicker here? Yeah, okay. Yes, I called him, yes. Thank you. And we'll go ahead and move to approval of the April 23rd committee meeting minutes. Are you going to click? Am I going to click? Are they up? Which one is it? It's not working. It's going backwards. There we go. Give you a couple of minutes to review.
A motion to approve the minutes?
Okay, that's Renning to move to approve the minutes. Can I have a second?
I second.
Okay, Ms. Schaefer seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Abstentions? Minutes are approved. Next on the agenda, we're going to call for public comment. Technology, is there anyone online for public comment? None? Okay, there are none. Are there any in the audience for public comment? Oh, we have one. Thank you. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Maria Chacon. I teach across the streets.
Can we pause, please? We need to make sure that that microphone is working. And also, Ms. Chacon, you will have
2 minutes.
2 minutes to speak.
So hold on just a moment. Is it on? Can you?
Yes.
It's on. Okay. Go ahead. And 2 minutes.
My name is Maria Chacon. I teach across the street at Central High School. Recently, my committee, Multicultural Committee, submitted some items for processing, and they were not approved. And so I'd like some feedback on like what specific policy and when, what happened that made those items not be approved. If we could take a look at the multicultural budget, I think it's been a long time since we've looked at that budget, at least from what I know, and maybe rethink some items, a rethink about the way that we spend the funds. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Appreciate the comment. Are there any others for public comment? Okay. Next on the agenda, we have information and welcome and goals.
All right, so today we'll be taking a deeper dive and looking at data requests that have been submitted by the committee. Before we do that, though, I do want to review the purpose of the committee. Again, is using data collected from community and presented from the district will provide priorities to the school board. I do want to share, in 3 months, you're not going to become experts in the subject matter. And so it really is kind of taking your experience, your knowledge, and then the little bit of knowledge that you're getting from here to make a decision on those priorities. As we go through this process with the budget committee, we will most likely be recommending priorities again or doing more of this type of work throughout the next 2 years together. And so we'll get better at this. What we will do is once those priorities are developed, the board will approve, and then really the team that will oversee and are the experts in the sense of they have an understanding of the whole district will be executive team. And they will make the decisions on the cuts. And so we will not, in the committee, focus on cutting, on reductions, but more what do you as committee members feel is important for a school, for the school. Again, I want to kind of share the approach we're using for those educators. We're using a constructive approach, really authentically, because we are all learning as we go. And so there's a lot of unknowns. There's going to be, we're going to have to embrace the unknown and embrace kind of making decisions without necessarily having every single piece of information in front of us, because we have time limitations. We're going to extend learning using data. Like I said, we'll have 4 different stations today. You'll take a look at different data sets. And again, it's, you'll analyze that data, but again, it's going to be to the extent of that you're able to understand it, go and really look into it. And then really it is a collaborative engagement, right? We're collecting data from different community members and then using your knowledge of the district, your job, your position, students, your knowledge of education in general, and what we do to make those recommendations. So in your packets, we've developed committee guardrails. And again, the first one is really just focusing on the priorities. And this is difficult, right? Because we started by sharing, this is all the budget that we have and the different reductions that'll occur due to declining enrollment. However, really the focus of this committee will be on those priorities, not on staffing, not on budget reductions. You're not tasked to do that. Maybe you want to do that, but we're not tasked to do that. Our job is really to provide recommendations to the school board on those priorities. Again, like I mentioned, rely on your knowledge, your experience, and then this new understanding. School finance is very complicated. Just when you when you think, okay, I have this understanding, then guess what? The legislator or somebody throws a curveball and everything changes. And so it's a continuous process. As we go through this, by the end of the 2 years, you will know more. And I would say that you know more now than when we started. And you probably know a little bit more than, someone who is out in the community. But it's not enough time to kind of know everything. And neither am I sitting here saying, I know everything. There's a lot of things that we in finance will call auditors. We'll talk to different resources that we have available to make decisions in these different things. Be flexible and embrace the process. This is complex. Focus on innovation and long-term sustainability and thinking of those priorities, right? How does that help the district continue to move forward? And then again, we're using the survey data as raw data. And this is data in its purest form. And of course, it was developed. And again, this is the first budget committee I've run. So I'm learning the process of a budget committee We did quite a bit of research to see what are different types of committees, how to set this up. But again, I just want to remind the committee that our goal is to really come up with, these are the priorities that we're going to give the school board, and then they're going to accept them, or say go back to the drawing board, and then the group that will make those decisions on cuts will be executive team. And so, any questions regarding that? All right, go ahead next.
Dr. Purple would like, Dr. D'Alba. Dr. D'Alba. Thank you very much. Mr. Nidoram.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Madam Chair. Dr. D'Alba, thank you so much for really explaining the guardrails. Because for the last two meetings, I'm leaving more confused about what exactly the scope of work, This really helps because I know this process is very complex, like you said, but also I am understanding. I'm making this comment so that you can see how far I understood this. Guardrails, it is not limitations as I'm understanding. It is the scope of work in this committee, right?
Correct.
Because this is a hard subject, right? It is a sensitive subject when it comes to Phoenix Union community. And the heading itself is Budget Committee. And it's a 3-year work. The other part I understood in the last few meetings, including today what you presented, is this has maybe 3 phases. The why, the research phase, the education phase, the how, what you said, the executive, the associations, the next phase of work after you recommend the executive board, the executive members, will decide how to approach it. And the last part is how it will be implemented, right? So knowing these guardrails, I think our limitations is definitely knowing more about educating more ourselves while in this process. It is very transparent. Among the 3 phases, I feel that this is the most transparent phase of this whole 3 years, where every colleague of mine can come or watch and know every step what is happening and where we are going, right? So thank you so much for putting this guardrails. It is very crucial that we continue this, the research phase, and also saying that we are in learning phase along with you. You're like a brand new pilot, but I will completely trust you because already we took off. So there is no doubt I'm going to doubt you. So thank you so much. However, Madam Chair, I have a request from you because the guardrails are new. I'm a human with 3 things, a brain, a heart, and a mouth, but they don't function often in a perfect sync. So anytime if I go off or talk about the subjects that are out of my scope, please, Madam Chair, bring me back, bring the committee back, so that because it is whatever we speak or out of our scope may create unnecessary, unneeded panic or extra panic within our community. So this is my understanding. If I didn't do a good job, maybe you have to repeat it, but if I did a good job, thank you. No.
All right, thank you, Mr. Nidoram. I will be working closely with Dr. D'Alba and Mr. Silvas to ensure that we stay on track with our scope of work. We did discuss meeting norms, and we discussed what it is that we are striving to accomplish between now and September, and so I will be working closely with the 2 of them to ensure that we stay on track and we don't kind of get off track, which is why we asked for guardrails. So this is the scope of our work moving forward. Are there any questions or discussion regarding any misunderstanding? Yes, Mr. Williams.
I have just like a quick clarifying question. So the first guardrail in here and focus on priorities, not staffing and budget reductions. With not focusing on budget, are we asked to look more at just the terminology of the, and like what happens in the different priorities in those departments and rank it based on that and steer away from trying to look into the dollar amount behind each one, like kind of look at things agnostic of the actual dollar amount?
Yes and no. We're actually going to provide you the dollar amount today
Okay.
for each priority. But when you're making that decision, think of it, usually when we make decisions, even in our own life, we don't always, it's not just money. We take into account a lot of different factors, our life experience, what we know, what we've learned, and different things. And really, the priorities are, as a school district, how do we function moving forward? And in a sense, they set parameters for executive team to make those decisions, because there's a lot of processes, for example, in talent that have to be followed. There's a lot of processes in finance, statutorily, that have to be followed, a lot of different things that have to be done. Grants are associated with that. There's a lot of different procedures that we're not going to be able to have everyone completely understand everything, you know, in the time that we're here.
Okay. Thank you. And thank you for gathering the numbers too.
You're welcome.
Okay. Ms. Hernandez?
Thank you, Dr. Payton. I just wanted the record to reflect that Committee Member Galaz joined us at 4:40 and Committee Member Thompson joined us at 4:42.
Thank you. Ms. Schaefer?
Dr. Payton, and Dr. De-Alba, I'm wondering, again, in the spirit of complete transparency, it's important for me that the community knows the process. During the governing board meetings, my suggestion is, could we give that governing board meeting kind of the survey results? Because in my mind, that is when the community is tuning in and not necessarily to this meeting. I did notice that none of the governing board members had questions, and I appreciate that we did have a community member come in and speak to us today, but it worried me that there was no questions.
Thank you.
And when we present the priorities, it'll be a summary. This is all the data. This is how we came to this decision. And so it's holistic. That was more of, this is what we've done so far. When we presented to the board, it was not necessarily meant to go over data. It was just, this is what we've done in the last 3 sessions. But when we present in September, which is, it's important that we stay to the timeline, because it's gonna take time for us to develop what is it that we're gonna present and how do we wanna show that. So thank you for that.
Any other questions? No? Okay, moving forward, we're going to dive deeper into the data.
Yep. So today we'll have 4 different stations. You'll rotate just like you would in a classroom. And so each of you should have a number, correct?
Yes.
That you'll be assigned to. And you'll walk over to that station. There will be a district level person there that will go over different data. The data that's provided to you is essentially data that has been requested over the last 3 meetings, as accurately as possible, because I will say that when we're looking at especially financial data, it's reported a certain way. And so if it's reported a certain way, we have to kind of decipher and say, okay, that fits this priority, that fits this. Oh, this one kind of is enmeshed everywhere. And so when you're looking at the data, please keep in mind it's as clean as it can possibly be when we're looking at it. Another thing that we'll do is, prior to us moving and shifting to the stations, is I will have Mr. Renning share a little bit about CTA, our associations. We have a strong partnership in Phoenix Union with our associations. So it's important for the committee to understand kind of what the role of CTA is. Then I'll also have Ms. Jimenez share what the role of CEA is. In a future meeting, we'll also ask ADA to participate. We have 3 associations in the district, and they, together with the district, partner and help with a lot of the decision-making, especially when it comes to benefits and salary packages. So before we move to different stations, I'll have Mr. Renning present.
All right, thanks. So when I was asked to do this, I kind of looked at it, I guess, from the lens of like, how does CTA specifically and budget, how some of the budget pieces are impacted by CTA. So just for some context and some history, CTA represents all certified employees in the district. So we do have the highest percentage of members in the state of any school district. We are the largest high school district association and do have a majority status, which is above 60% membership. So in the state of Arizona, that's a right-to-work state. These are all people who have chosen to be members and made that decision. So several of our campuses are over 85% membership. So just kind of a comparison to other districts, because I know we've done that with other things, is that's kind of where CTA comes in. Also, a lot of our work revolves around our professional agreement. So our professional agreement it's this 133-page document that kind of guides our rights, responsibilities, compensation, some of our benefits, our conducts, procedures. So typically when we have questions or those kind of things, that's we go to our professional agreement. One kind of cool thing, now it was 8 years ago, we celebrated the 50th anniversary of our professional agreement, and it is the oldest one in the state of Arizona, which is cool from that perspective. So working close to 60 years there. So, but one of the big things, especially with salary, is like our IBN process, and that is in that document in our professional agreement about how salary schedules are negotiated, how what Dr. D'Alba was kind of saying of certain pieces that way. So we do have the salary schedule, extra duty compensation, things like class sizes were just some of the examples I know that impacts the budget. So when we think about class sizes in the professional agreement, there are different things, how many students should be in a chemistry class versus an English class versus a CTE class. So that dictates kind of some staffing there. And then also when we talk about staffing, as far as numbers on campus, how many teachers are to students, and I know those things happen every semester where we look over, okay, does this campus need another math teacher? Do we have too many math teachers? Those kind of things. So those are just some things I guess I wanted to bring up just from a more specifically budget perspective when we think about those things is our professional agreement guides a lot of those pieces, and that is negotiated with CEA, ADA, the district office in IBN. So and I was a member maybe 2 years ago in that IBM process, and it's something we all have to come to agreement to and work towards that. And I think we are very fortunate that we have that opportunity to have those discussions and work through those pieces. So that's all I've got, unless there's questions. But
Thank you, Mr. Renning. Okay, next, Ms. Jimenez.
Yes, thank you. All right, so thank you for having us here today and giving us the opportunity to share a bit about what CEA is, who we are, who we represent. So CEA is comprised of 9 career families, which includes all of those career families listed there. So anywhere from clerical to skilled trades, transportation, technology. And I was really excited because this year Phoenix Union actually purchased our own icons for this. So shout out to the Teaching and Learning Department for their efforts to establish pretty much some logos to really help us stand out and gain that recognition that we deserve. Although we represent dues-paying members, we also assist and essentially once we vote and ratify things in the interest-based negotiations process, it affects all classified members. And so of those 1,200 employees, we are now the largest educational support professional local in the state. And we too are at majority status at 730 plus members and growing. Something we're really proud of because for a long time we were under 500, and so this growth is really something that we're proud of. And then speaking of our professional agreement, it's nationally and state revered and recognized, and also recognized by our board. And it oftentimes is sought after by other districts to kind of gauge how other districts should be rolling out their professional agreement, helping them establish language, practices, and procedures that help, essentially their working conditions, noted like salary and benefits. So it's a wide variety of topics and kind of buckets that we have our hands in, more or less. And I say it's not a handbook because I think oftentimes folks misinterpret the professional agreement as a handbook, and a handbook is not necessarily recognized. And so we're really proud of that professional agreement, and it's, I believe, right under 200 pages. So if not just as thick, then more thicker than the CTA professional agreement. And essentially, we negotiate, we advocate, empower, and serve, and that's noted in a plethora of things, all sorts of events and initiatives that the Phoenix Union High School District takes part of. We ensure that we always have a voice at the table. The request was made, or rather we were talking about the last meeting, what are the staffing ratios and how is that going to influence our budget? And so in our professional agreement, we have noted in section 49, which it's also publicly available on our website. So if you are interested in reviewing that or getting your own copy, it's accessible for you. So specifically with section 49, we have staffing ratios set for our safety services, custodial maintenance services, and our clerical services. And most of these ratios are based off of student enrollment. And so when we think about things that, as far as our enrollment declining, we're now not meeting our minimums or what's in our professional agreement. So although, yes, we have some, concern of that as well, it directly affects our staffing. And so I'm looking forward to, finding creative ways to kind of alleviate some of the concerns that have come up with these staffings. So whether that be, a campus is experiencing a bigger number of vacancies, can we move some folks? And so ideally, we would love the least amount of impact on our classified staff, just because we know how critical they are to the functions of our district, and how widespread our engagement and involvement is with this district. So, questions?
Thank you, Ms. Jimenez. Dr. Dialba?
All right, thank you for sharing that. We'll start, I'll kind of introduce what's at each station that you'll be going through. But essentially, we'll have about 10 minutes per station. I know it's quick, but we have to do things in the time frame that we have. But basically, we're going to look at different data sets that will hopefully help you kind of make more informed decisions. We've also split you up so that there's voting and non-voting members as much as possible in each rotation so that there can be discourse and discussion. So at Station 1, I'll be going over survey data. We have the survey data of about 1,000 employees, and then we have about 400 community members composed of parents and students that we also got survey data from, so we'll go over that. Station 2 is over there, sorry, will be Ms. Reese, who will be going over essentially a financial perspective on the priorities. So this is where we took the priorities and said this is how much each priority has in terms of expenditures. Station 3 will be Ms. Celaya, who will be going over the Auditor General risk assessment and then doing a brief overview of district data, comparing a few different districts to Phoenix Union based on AFR data. And then Station 4 will be Mr. Silvas, who will go over staffing ratios and comparability, and he'll talk about what that is and its importance when we staff schools. As you go around, each of you should have a sheet for you to take more notes. All of this data is posted on the website, so you can go back and take an even deeper dive, or if you have nothing to do on a Sunday night, you can look through it. But the idea is, as you go through, start thinking is, how does this data help me kind of organize the priorities? What we also are asking is, as you go through, there's poster boards, is to kind of put, like, this is a short summary of what you uncovered, any other questions you have, but essentially like, I wonder this, or this was interesting, whatever. And we'll take pictures of those and also post that up so that you guys have that as additional processing. The idea is, hopefully, we have this data, and then when we meet again, we can actually sit down and decide what the priorities are, hoping that you will go at some point, and you have the list of priorities already. If not, they're on the board, they're on the website from the previous meeting, and hopefully you can come and have it organized so we can kind of go through that process a little bit quicker. So any questions about what we're doing? Does everybody have a number in front of them? All right, so at this time, we'll have Maria kind of start the timer when everybody gets to their area, and then go learn more about the district.
Thank you, Mr. Dialba.
1 minute. 1 minute. Please move to the next station, please. 5 minutes.
The way it works, the analogy that I can have in my head is
Two-minute warning. Who's not writing? I'm not writing anything there. Please move to the next station. You should take her.
So I will start by sharing this article. So this article shares the context of students at Roosevelt and I will also post online a link where it kind of talks about the final enrollment at a national level. It's a national trend, we're not the only state, it's still exactly, but also kind of gives reason
2-minute warning.
But again, we just talked about it yesterday morning.
Committee members, if you could make your ways back to your chairs, please. We've got about 10 minutes left in the meeting and a couple things we still need to work on.
Okay. Ready? Okay, I think we are all back. The next topic on the agenda is agenda item 7, scheduling our next meeting. Yep. Do I have it?
So one of the things, go ahead.
Were we on this, or are you going to talk about something else?
No, we were going to go to this.
Okay. I think if we look back, we struck the 3rd on that because of our CEA meetings, and it should be to the 2nd Thursdays.
Okay, I'll look back, but I think the survey I'll look back at the survey data. One of the things that, for our next meeting, the month of June, basically the last week of May and the month of June, for the most part, is difficult. The district moves to 4-day work week. And we have 10-hour shifts. And to be able to, we would have to meet after the work day. That would put a significant strain on our classified staff, and then also on the people that actually work that are classified in the committee. Salary usually has to stay here. If we have to stay here till 10, well, you stay here till 10. And so one of the recommendations was that we meet in July, is to start when we actually start our 8-hour work weeks. Before I'll look back at the survey data and I'll send the results for this to see if it's the third meeting, the third Thursday of each month. But really what we need to do is come up with a meeting in July, knowing that in by September, we need to provide priorities. And so ideally, we'd like you to be able to take this data, all the knowledge that you've learned, to be able to come back prepared with your list of priorities. Okay, and like this is what I believe the priorities should be, so that we can have a discussion and vote on it. But in terms of meeting in July.
Dr. Dialba,
Yeah.
I just want to clear something up. If you look at the minutes from the last
Does
meeting,
it say-
that's where it was discussed, and it was the second Thursday of
second?
each month.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I guess the question is, do we want to start with the second Thursday? Because July is a weird month. Some people are back, some people aren't. Do we want to push that forward? But the idea is that meeting, we need to have a solid, we need to decide what the priorities are so that in August, we can say, this is what we want to present to the board. Because we have to have that board presentation or what we want to present to the board about 2 weeks at least before the board meeting. So you guys can discuss that, or kind of what do you want to do for the month of July?
Do we need a
Mr. Ridley?
motion to schedule for July 10th? Is that what we're looking for?
I think the motion is to select discuss a date in July, is that?
Would I make a motion to discuss the date in July?
That's how it looks. Select.
Correct.
So motion to select the date, so just.
I move to select a date in July. Then we would have the discussion on the specific date, right?
Yeah, you have to motion the specific date.
Oh, okay. Move that we select July 10th, the second Thursday in July.
Is there a second? Okay. Any
Now you go into discussion.
Okay, any discussions?
Would it be possible if we are out of the country to tune in virtually?
Yeah, yes.
And then I also wanted to say thank you for gathering all of that data, especially from the families. I was very impressed on how fast you moved on it.
You're welcome, and thank you for your feedback.
I will not be physically here. I'm not able to be here, but I can join virtually if we decide on the 10th.
Okay.
I will probably also not be in town that day, but can probably participate virtually, so.
I also want to add, Dr. Payton also informed she would be not there during that time. So I don't know if she's virtual or not. She left a message for me. That's not a date either, so.
And we have about 3 minutes, so.
how do people feel about July 31st? And I know it's really, really cutting it. Again, I started off by saying thank you for all of that data, so I think you put us on a really good footing, but July 31st?
Can you use this one?
All right. Are we, if we do July 31st, are you hoping for, do we have enough meetings in there to accomplish that if we're going that far?
I think given the data that we have, the idea is, the ask is that you come back with these are the priorities that this, and then that meeting would be to discuss and kind of say, okay, this is what we've decided, and start developing what we'll present to the board. And then in August, the second Thursday, right, of August, we would have, because that's when we'd go into our regular cadence of meetings. So the second Thursday of August would be when we kind of finalize what we want to present to the board.
So.
And that would be enough.
There wouldn't have been another second July one. We would just be meeting a little quicker on that second one, so it doesn't make
Right.
much difference. Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
If we can have as many of us as possible present, I think that'd be helpful for the gravity of this discussion. I'll make any of these work. I could do the 31st of July. That might be nice that it's only 2 weeks ahead of the, I guess, kind of final one where we'd be submitting.
Mr. Williams, are you wanting to amend your motion to make it?
Thank you.
To the
I
31st of
amend my
July?
motion to move that we, instead of meeting July 10th, we would meet July 31st with the intention of having as many people here as possible.
And who gave the second? Is that you, Mr. Thompson? You accept that? Yes. Okay. So the motion that's on the floor right now is for the 31st of July.
Okay. And, yep, all in favor, say yes?
Aye, yes.
Aye, sorry. Thanks for helping me. Any noes or nay? Okay, the motion passes? Okay, good, I passed. So, are we nay? Okay, good. Okay. Can I have just one small comment before? I know it's 1 minute, so 1 minute, okay. I like to close because we work on this heavy subject and like to close any opportunity I get to see. So celebrate or anything. So today I want to just celebrate the brand new baby doctorate, Dr. D'Alba, who had just graduated. It's very special because, I guess son of immigrants, first in the college for the family. I'm sitting next to a person who represents a dream of a lot of hardworking parents. I don't know much, so I may be just making things up. But immigrants like me come here to this land of opportunities, not for themselves, but for their kids, for the generation. And this is the best story. I get emotional because I see my daughters in your place to get the highest degree, not just anything, and the highest position at the same time. And I wish you would invite me to the party just to see the smile on your dad's face, But it is the spirit why we work so hard every day that our kids can look up to you or become you. Inspirations are around us, not on newspapers. They are, but these inspirations are beautiful. So congratulations. I know it's a hard journey, but the best smiles you're bringing up on your parents will inspire our kids. So just that before.
Thank you.
So the next best thing after Dr. D'Alba's is the next topic on the agenda is item 11, adjourn. Yep. Is there a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a second? And okay. All in favor? Okay. Opposed? Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Meeting is
Have a
adjourned
great
at 6:01.